Welcome to Mastering Your Financial Life, hosted by Judy Heft, the founder and CEO of Judith Heft and Associates Financial and Lifestyle Concierge. This year, they're celebrating 26 years in business. In every episode, Judy interviews professionals who help others successfully manage their financial lives. You can find this show on YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. Judy is the author of 2 books, How to Be Smart, Successful, and Organized with Your Money for a Better Today and Tomorrow, and her latest book, Mastering Your Financial Life Cycles, How to Successfully Manage Money in Every Decade of Life. You can read chapters of her books and catch prior episodes of this show at www.judithheft.com. Now here's the host of Mastering Your Financial Life, Judy Heft.
Hey there, welcome to I think this is our 6th episode of Mastering Your Financial Life. And today I'm thrilled and very excited to have my good friend Bill Minoff with me. Bill is a CPA and a tax advisor, and he works with a lot of high net worth individuals. He's a trusted tax advisor, and it's just wonderful that he opened his own business recently. He's been working for over 20 years for different firms, and during the pandemic, he decided to go out on his own. So I'm really thrilled to have Bill with me here. His company is William Minoff CPA. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Judy. Glad to be here.
Happy to have you here. So do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started?
Sure. I launched my practice a year and a half ago, actually to this day, January 2021. After spending more than 30 years both in public practice as well as working for a closely held media company based in New York. Most recently, I was with a mid-sized CPA firm serving as tax director, responsible for providing federal and state tax planning and consulting, as well as compliance services to a diverse group of clients. Our largest client was a large international art gallery where I served both the owner and the business in providing tax planning and compliance services. And that was a certainly challenging and a very interesting client to work with. Also worked with real estate clients and apparel importers of apparel clients and other types of flow-through business entities and their owners. So that was really so I had worked with them, and my time with them was preceded by another firm that I had joined shortly after spending 25 years with a closely held media company in New York. And this media company was a diversified, closely held media company where I worked with the shareholders as well as within the business, providing a variety of tax services in a variety of areas, in the compensation benefits area, estate planning, and also representing the clients in disputes with the IRS, New York State, and other states in numerous areas. So I'm kind of the old school tax person, where I have a broad-based tax knowledge, which comes from not only my experience becoming a CPA early, but then going back to school for my master's in tax. And that really served as the foundation for me, and I consider myself a student of tax. So it's a constant challenge staying current on relevant federal and state tax matters for the benefit of my clients.
That's great. It sounds like you have a very diverse background, and it's interesting. You've dealt with a lot of different kinds of clients, and you're definitely well versed in the tax arena. And I always learn something when I talk to you, so I'm excited to have you here as my guest. So what motivated you to start a tax practice during the middle of the pandemic? I think that was kind of a risky thing to do, and you took a plunge. I know that, in my own opinion, being an entrepreneur, you have to be a bit of a risk taker to, take those steps. So what motivated you to do it?
I have such a high degree of respect for entrepreneurs, and I don't really put myself in a category somewhat like you, who launched your practice 26 years ago. For me, it was almost like a natural progression in my career. While I worked for other companies as well as company, and I was a partner in the firm that rendered services to the closely held media company. And I viewed myself essentially as a CEO of my career. I didn't necessarily view myself when I did take the plunge as it being a huge risk for me, because I felt it was a natural progression of my career. I always envisioned myself at some point launching a practice, but I thought it was going to happen later in my career than it did. So the way it really went down was after after spending 25 years with the closely held media company, I joined a mid-sized CPA firm, and then 21 months later, that firm merged with another firm, where the two senior members of that firm split the practice. One of them going with a larger firm, and the one that I worked for, the partner that I worked for, merging with the mid-sized firm that I ended up with as a tax director. So we were all under 2-year employment agreements, which began in November of 2018. So by October of 2020, my 2-year agreement had expired, and the decision was made by the managing partner not to continue with my services. So during that time, I had the good fortune of being able to bring in some business to the firm. And so I took that time between November and December of 2020 to negotiate my separation, which included the ability to service the clients that I brought into the firm. And that really laid the groundwork for me launching my own practice in January of 2021. So that was really, based on my story, you can see how I look at it as an organic next step in my career, as opposed to being a leap of faith. The way I look at it, I was really just doing what I had been doing before, but only, in my own name, in my own capacity, as a solo practitioner.
Well, it's great that when you left, your agreement allowed you to take your clients with you, because that's a big deal. When you're starting a new business, starting from scratch, it's a lot more difficult than if you've already got a few clients under your belt. So that was wonderful separation agreement that you were able to make. So that's good.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
well, the whole idea was I wanted it to be as amicable as possible. Separations can get a little bit messy.
Yes.
But we were able to keep it amicable, and there's a whole host of reasons you want to try to keep separations amicable, because you never know down the road, there could be synergy down the road with respect to maybe working together with respect to other clients. And so you never know. You always want to leave the door open.
Of course, you never want to burn any bridges. You never know, like you said, what's going to happen in the future, where you're going to end up. You don't know. You want to keep those lines of communication amicable and friendly and open. So if you need them, sometimes you might even need to ask them for a question, or you never know what's going on. You want to be on good terms. That's important.
My philosophy has always been to try to be as helpful as possible to as many people. I'm fortunate in so many ways, both personally and professionally. So I view it as my duty and obligation to give back wherever I can.
Absolutely. I feel the same way. And it feels good to give back when you can. That's excellent. So what are some of your challenges of, having a startup business in the middle of the pandemic? I mean, were you able to grow? I know that you started and you already had some clients that you were able to take with you, but were you able to grow because of the pandemic? Did it help or hurt you? I know the pandemic really helped my business grow, unfortunately for other people, but I think people were home and they were thinking more about their finances than they ever did before.
Yeah, there's no question. For me, it was not a negative factor at all. I think that is more function on what we do because both of us provide essential services to our client base and to potential clients, and we both add significant value that is very, it's not something that goes away or is necessarily um, cut short because of something even as dramatic as a pandemic. Uh, there's always a need for somebody to help with finances as well as navigating a very challenging tax landscape, which is always changing.
And
And
taxes are not going away anytime soon.
that's correct.
Neither are
So,
bills. It's all
so
going to be there.
yeah, absolutely.
We're always going to have
So
to pay our bills and categorize them and organize them and make sure they're on time and taxes. And it's, I always, a lot of people say, they try to use TurboTax, but I don't approve of, or, I don't think that's so great because the tax laws change and we don't know. Even with payroll taxes, I prefer to use a payroll service because I'm not up to speed on all those different changes. And that's why you need a good CPA to guide you in the right direction with taxes. And it's been important. And I want to take a little break here right now, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk some more. Thanks, Bill.
okay.
So stick around. Hey there. I just want to tell you a little bit about my new book that just came out called Mastering Your Financial Life Cycles. And here it is. It's how to successfully manage your money in every decade of life. I co-authored this with my CFO, Liz Levy. And together we created this manual that's going to help you through every stage of life. We talk about having a baby. We talk about young adulthood, pre-retirement, what to do when you're at that age of retirement, if you're contemplating divorce, do you need an estate plan? We cover all of these, each subject in a different chapter. And I really think that you're going to find this so helpful because at the end of every chapter, we have checklists that you can look at and you can use, and they can be a guide for you. So this is a wonderful manual that we've created. It's available on Amazon. You can also find it on our website at judithheft.com/book. And we're here for you. If you need anything, reach out. I hope you enjoy the book. Here's another picture of it, just so you know what's going on. Here it is. And I'm really proud of it. It's my second book. And I'd love to have you read it and give me your feedback. Judy Heft, judithheft.com, financial and lifestyle concierge, celebrating 26 years in business. And over the years, I've learned so much. And what I've been trying to do is impart a little bit of this knowledge to you so I can help all of you become as financially organized as I am. So we're back. Hi, Bill.
Hi.
So I wanted to ask you, so what are some of your guiding principles that you have, with respect to dealing with your clients?
Well, first and foremost, let me take a step back. The foundation of my practice really are the clients that I established longstanding relationships with when I was with the closely held media company that spanned 25 years. So these are extremely successful executives and who are now retired executives who I've had longstanding relationships with. So it's really, it first starts with mutual trust and respect. So unless there's mutual trust and respect, there will not be a successful service provider client relationship. Both parties have to be all in, and it's always except there are some clients who look to the service provider as well. I pay you, so you do what you need to do. Unfortunately, that is a very short-sighted approach. And it's not an approach that I have bought into. I believe in the collaborative approach to servicing clients. I am the person on their team that is the tax advisor. I believe strongly that we need to work with all of the clients' service providers in a collaborative, cohesive manner, including somebody like yourself, Judy, who I'd love to work with in the future. I hope we have a chance to do so. They're estate planning attorney as well as wealth advisor. It's really important for everyone to be moving in the same direction in order to get maximum value from everybody. And that's really what I'm all about, trying to help the client maximize their options and opportunities. And I look at it from a tax perspective, but it's really, I try to stay away from the traditional approach, which is approaching problems in a vacuum. You try to look at the bigger picture first to have a better understanding of where the client is coming from, and then go from there.
It's so true that working with a team is imperative, because there's so many different facets, the attorneys, the accountants, the bookkeepers, whatever the case may be. It's better to have a whole cohesive team so that you can help your client fully, because I don't know anything about estate planning. I know enough to be dangerous. I don't know enough about taxes. I know enough to be dangerous there too. So I think it's really important. So I'm glad that you had that philosophy. So Bill, this was great. So how can we reach you? How can people find you?
So for me, it's very easy. Just email me at my email address at william.minoff@gmail.com. I'm also on LinkedIn. So you can message me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to talk to any prospective client for any, if they have a tax question. And if it goes beyond that, we can also discuss that.
That's great. So is your first consultation, excuse me, do you give a consultation that's free?
My initial consultation is free.
That's great.
And any time the client is the potential client is looking for more, then we enter into a retainer agreement that includes the consultation.
That's great, Bill. No, so you always have so much valuable information to give. I'm really happy to know you, and I look forward to more business together in the future. Thanks for joining me today on the podcast. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and we will be back next week with someone else. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Mastering Your Financial Life, hosted by Judy Heft. Thank you for your positive reviews, comments, and sharing this show with others. You can read chapters of Judy's books and catch prior episodes of Mastering Your Financial Life at www.judithheft.com.